Welcome back. It is Tuesday, the 2nd of June, 4:17 p.m. I want to start with a moment of silence. I only just heard of the story of Henry Nowak. My condolences for the family. I will speak upon it at a later date. Let's get to work. We were on page 25. And I'll give you a moment to pause the video and read the page. Sorry for the shakes. Okay. Let's continue. One, two, me. And you finally understand. The message you communicate with another human being has nothing to do with what you say. It has nothing to do with the look on the musculature of your face. It's much deeper than that. Much deeper. It's the vibrations that emanate from you. This is a up-to-date topic, actually. It's quite common for people to use the word vibe when they talk about the way they feel towards a person or a situation. For example, how the vibes felt that night, or I'm getting a certain kind of vibe from him. This is what he's referring to. The one, two, and me refers to you and another person exchanging conversation, art, thoughts, and ideas, but ultimately it is part of the me. Both of you are one. The message you communicate with an other human being has nothing to do with what you say. It really, really doesn't. For we all know the feeling of thousands of words can be expressed with one look, even though the look may have nothing to do with it. After all, liars, people that act, not actors, but people that act, well, you're able to, if you're open and can listen to your heart, you're able to feel the vibrations and able to look past the musculature of the faces that try to lie to you. If your vibrations are paranoid, that's what's being received. And when you're around pets, birds or cats particularly, or very young children, or very flipped out psychotics, they will know you immediately. You come and say, "Hello, dear, how are you?" And the dog will growl. You can't come on because they're listening to the vibrations that hand is searching out and sending. And you realize that every moment you are a full statement of your being, and you're sending out vibrations that are affecting everything around you, which in turn is affecting everything that comes back. And when you meet somebody who is caught in the world of we and them, and you are him to that person, and you get caught in his mind net, You are both just intensifying one another's paranoia. This one is referring to encounters, everyday encounters you meet with people. Perhaps you think that you do not emanate any kind of hostility. You feel that maybe if you were alone in your apartment or house, upset with yourself and maybe even cursing the world, and when you go out into the public setting, you can smile and pretend everything's fine. But you need to understand that, let's give the examples here. Pets, young children, and flipped up psychotics, they don't, they cannot fall for this, for they have not learned how to fall for this act. We learn to accept liars so well in this world that we don't, quote unquote, see them. Young children, remember the first pages. Unless ye convert back to children. Flipped out psychotics. Schizophrenics. The schizophrenic mind has busted open their brain, whether by choice or unfortunate happenstance. So they cannot hide the real reaction to your, whatever it is that you're emanating. They are listening to the vibrations. They aren't looking at your face and judging everything you say by what you're doing and your body language. No, they only feel your vibrations at that point, in that state of mind, which anyone can reach, by the way. And the second page is a declaration of what's truly happening at all moments. Every moment you are a full statement of your being. Every moment, the moment you wake up, saying hello to the mailman, speaking to your boss, talking to your children, talking to yourself is a full statement of your inner being. So do be careful of what you are being and sending out, for it affects everything around you. We've been taught not to know this. We've been taught to forget this, because as children, you already know this. Only it's just not educated upon and reinforced. But it will. The earth is healing. And when you meet somebody who is caught in the world of we and them, and you are him, when we meet someone who is caught in the world of separation, and as we know, nothing is separate in this realm, on this planet, you get caught in his mind net. You both get caught in the mindset, and only intensifies one another's paranoia. This is the current state of the world. Why is there so much chaos, evil, hatred? Well, it's because everyone is allowing it. You allow it to affect your being, and thus your being affected, you give back the effect that you receive, and so on and so forth. The chain reaction, simply, there is no ending to that chain reaction. And so you get caught in each other's paranoia. Animals do not do this. Do excuse me if you hear the neighbors, for the apartment walls are quite thin, but I will not stop the video. Hippies create police. Police create hippies. If you're in polarity, you're creating opposites, polar opposites. You can only protest effectively when you love the person whose ideas you are protesting against, as much as you love yourself. Love has to spring spontaneously from within, and it is in no way amenable to any form of inner or outer force. Love and coercion can never go together. But though love cannot be forced on anyone, it can be awakened in him through love itself. Love is essentially self-communicative. Those who do not have it catch it from those who have it. True love is unconquerable and irresistible. It goes on gathering power and spreading itself until eventually it transforms everyone whom it touches. Meher Baba. This one has always stuck with me, and actually these 2 pages here are the ones that I remember the most. I first read this book over 10 years ago, and these 2 pages are the ones I think about the most. Hippies create police, police create hippies. We think we can protest on the street to make a difference, to show that we care, and that somehow that's going to do something. If I remember correctly, it was Mother Teresa that said, "I will never go to a war rally," or something like that. "I'll never go to a peace protest." I think that was the quote. Because it's completely absurd to protest peace. That sentence makes no sense. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. All that you're doing is creating the police that you're protesting, which is why riots get so out of hand. I personally have seen this myself with the George Floyd riots down in Miami. Again, this realm is of polarity. So when you are part of that polarity, you are creating the other side of that polarity. There is no way around this. And I will again bring up the story of Jesus Christ, for he was not protesting anything. In fact, he wasn't doing anything. Everything was done upon him. He did not ask anyone to burn down any authority buildings. He did not do that kind of stuff because he knew that's not how it works. So please, you have to love yourself. But not only that, you must also love the person whose ideas you're protesting against, because the famous words, "they know not what they do." Please let this sink in. It's the only way to make a change. Not by conquering. And over here he uses the word coercion. It cannot go together. Love awakens others. Love is essentially self-communicative. It is of a much higher frequency and permeates all, including the polarities. This is a very, very special page. Please reread it to yourself. And the fact of the matter is, As you go out on the astral plane, you see more and more, and the final thing you see in the world of form before you go into the formless and into total unity, you see the world of yin and yang. And the world of yin and yang is another astral plane, and it's one of the highest planes in the world of form, but it's still duality. It is still polarization. There is God, there is man, there is good, there is evil. Yes, no, pleasure, pain, loss, gain. The world most everybody is living in most of the time. This one is very self-explanatory, but the top, not so much. As you go out into the astral plane, as you reach higher frequencies, as you see the world from the heart cave more and more, you'll reach a point that you are able to see the underlying form of the world, of this planet. And before reaching even higher states of mind or consciousness or getting close to the essence, however you want to put it, you see the world of yin and yang. That is where we live in right now. We live in that world of yin and yang. Understand that when you start seeing yin and yang in everything, in absolutely everything, you are getting closer to the essence. And yet, it's just another plane. It's one of the highest planes, one of the highest vantage points you can have, but it's still just another plane of this world. The only way out of that is to take the poles of every set of opposites and see the way in which they are one. And if you can get into that place where you can see the interrelatedness of everything, and you see the oneness in it all, then no longer are you attached to your polarized position. The whole thing about generation gaps is a hype. The spirit is the spirit. When you can center and see your whole life as a story in which chapters are unfolding, then the moment to moment ego involvement, quote, am I getting enough at this moment? End quote, ceases to be a dominant theme, and you start to live in the Tao, the way. Jesus said, I am the way. It's the same way. The way is the way is the way. This is a nice set of pages right here. The only way out, meaning the only way in towards the heart cave, actually, is to take all the poles of every opposites. For instance, I had a bad day. When you see that it's actually quite the same thing as having a good day, when you realize that it's actually just one thing, when you see the oneness in it all, then you get detached to the polarized position. You start to see the world like this, instead of, quote, going crazy. The whole thing about generation gaps is hype. The spirit is a spirit. There is no separation between me and my great, 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 great grandfather. There is no separation. We have learned to accept separation, the idea of separation itself. A child does not know the concept of separation. And when you see things from that center, from that heart cave, you can see your life unfolding in chapters, which are all predetermined on this plane. The moment to moment ego involvement of, am I getting enough? Am I planning? How much time do I have? What will happen tomorrow? Who will I be tomorrow? I can't believe I did that. All these things, all these worries, all these paranoias ceases to be the dominant theme. It just stops. It doesn't stop, but you stop reacting to it and you start to live in the way. This one here is very important. Jesus said, I am the way. It's the same way. This part has been mistranslated, unfortunately. Or maybe it was mistranslated for a good cause. They read this as he himself, him, the person, is the way. No. What he did is the way. His actions were the way. What were his actions? A vantage point of the heart cave to see the world in yin and yang and to understand that hippies create police and police create hippies. He did not protest what was happening to him. He merely was being. And this was so crazy back then that, well, you know what happened. The way is the harmony of the universe. When one comes into the spirit, when one sees how it is, one understands that behind all the individual differences, man, woman, big, little, good, bad, old and young, every label you can think of becomes background instead of figure. What stands out is here we are, here and now. That's all there is. And if it isn't beautiful, man, there's nothing. So you say, well, I can't have it beautiful now, but later, when we get the food home, it will be beautiful. Later never exists. What's happened to life insurance, to tenure, to planning, saving, responsibilities? Nothing happened to any of it. Beautiful pair of pages here. Again, the way that Jesus was talking about is the harmony. He was not talking about himself. He was talking about the harmony of the universe, the oneness of it all. When one comes into spirit, one sees how it is. One understands that behind all the individual differences, all the labels, it's just here now. When you see it through the heart cave, you understand that, and now we use an example of today, Republican and Democratic. You really do think that they're different? No. They're labels for the same thing. Or anarchy and communism? No. It's just one thing expressing itself, dividing itself. Full expression. The differences you see in the universe is a multi-faced crystal, with many sides, but it's still one crystal, one thing, but it has many, many faces. And these faces, we consider them to be separate from the whole. They're not. They're simply reflections of the crystal. One moment. So, counter argument. So you say, well, I can't have it beautiful now, but later, when we get the food home, it will be beautiful. So maybe you're saying, well, my life is in shambles right now. Maybe I'll figure it out later, or I will get there. I'm gonna become a better person if I do that. That's no, you're creating the polarity. So you need to cut it out and understand that actually everything is right now. Everything's right here. If your life is in shambles, well, do accept it. Accept it to be here and now, and accept it to be a reflection of the being that you're emanating. That is why it feels like it's in shambles, because your inner being, even though it's not real, it's in shambles. But once you understand it's just a polarity, you come closer to the heart cave. Notice how every single page I refer back to the heart cave. What about life insurance, tenure, planning, saving, responsibility? It hasn't gone anywhere. It's still there. Do not bring paranoia into this. Nothing's happened. Surfing. Either you do it like it's a big weight on you, or you do it as part of the dance. When you understand, quote, the thought is the thought of the thoughtless, your singing and dancing is no other than the voice of the Dharma. Echoing. Ride the wave. We all know the sayings of the world. Go with the flow, ride the wave, don't go against the wave. It's referring to this. Now, you can totally ride the wave with a big weight on you, as if the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Either way, it's part of the dance of the universe. Singing and dancing, and saving accounts, and job, and insurance, and responsibility. Shiva's dance of life. Do you do it from Unk, or do you do it from I may have butchered that part. Do you surf through it all, or do you carry it around like a load? If only you could throw it off. If only I didn't have these kids around my neck. You can't get away for the day because it's in your head that you're trying to get away from. And the only way to get away is to change your head. Simple as that. You want to change your environment? Change your head. It's all the ecstatic, moment. If you know how to dig it, if not, it's a travesty. That's all. Profane. Again, you creating your reality, whether it is singing and dancing and having fun, or you're dealing with saving accounts and job. Look at his face. He doesn't like his job. He doesn't understand that his job is just the same thing as dancing. Are you going to do it from a point of view, vantage point of peace and meditation, or are you going to do it from a vantage point of paranoia? Either way, my friend, you're going to have to do it. You will dance this dance of life. Are you going to surf through it, or are you going to carry it like a load? Either way, you will do it. That is life. If only you could throw it off. If only I didn't have these kids around my neck. If only, right? Well, that's creating a future that doesn't exist. Understand that it's in your head. So it's a dream paranoia that you create in your head. But once you understand this, once you change your head, simply, you get that ecstatic moment that you that everybody wants. It's all profane. Desire. The first thing in my teacher's book, the first thing he ever wrote on his slate, because he was silent, was desire is a trap. Desirelessness is moksha, liberation. Desire is the creator. Desire is the destroyer. Desire is the universe. And that applies to the physical plane, the astral plane, the casual plane. Heaven, hell, demons. The demons on 43rd Street, as well as the demons on the astral plane. All the creations of desire. All the manifestations of the Divine Mother are creations of desire. That's why Naga, the naked ascetic, worked on getting Ramakrishna to go beyond his love for Kali. Give up even the desire to be experiencing the bliss of being it all, of being with the Divine Mother. These 2 pages are a great lesson. Please do pause the video and reread as much as possible. Actually, I recommend that you pause the video and take a screenshot of this right now. The top is for you, and I urge you to decipher it. The demons on 43rd Street, excuse me, the demons on 43rd Street, as well as the demons on the astral plane. The people around the street, the baker down the street, the person you met at the grocery store, your neighbor, they are the same demons on the astral plane. It's all the same. Understand that you do live in heaven and you live in hell. All creations of desire. You need to understand that in order to reach the bliss, you have to not desire it at all. You need to accept that the possibility of it never coming. The acceptance of the possibility of it never coming is the bliss. But that requires detachment from your own desires. The Buddhists say, I'm talking about the non-dualistic Buddhists, cut out all this middle stuff. They say, don't get hung up on all these different desire trips. Just go beyond it all. Buddha's 4 noble truths are very straightforward and very simple. The first one concerns the fact that life always has in it the element of unfulfillment, call it suffering. Birth, old age, sickness, not getting what you want, getting what you don't want, even getting what you want in this physical world is going to be suffering because you're going to lose it. It's always in time. Anything that is in time is going to pass away. Lay not up your treasures where moth and rust doth corrupt. That's the trip of time. As long as you want anything in time, it's going to pass because time passes. And I think this one speaks for itself. The second noble truth is the cause of suffering is desire or craving. If you don't try to hold, you don't suffer over the loss. If you don't worship life, you don't fear death. But if you try to hold on to life, it's very sad. You can honor life, but if you try to hold on to life, it's very sad. Did you ever see a really beautiful woman, like a top model, who is just getting to that point where her looks are changing into what could be an internal beauty if she hadn't been so busy with her external beauty? She is caught in the beauty of time, which withers, and yet, how poignant. Well, we've all touched people who are so beautiful as beings that we never notice whether they are physically beautiful. It's like an in it's like excuse me. It's like an eternal beauty lives within them. Well, if you attach yourself, if you crave temporal things, beauty, possessions, achievement, anything, how poignant. If you don't worship life, you don't fear death. Worship. Worship is very important here. Think about the current religions of the world, especially the prominent ones. They all worship something, but that literally creates the other polar opposite, which is the fear of death, which, of course, as you know, if you're a student and has come this far in the video, that there is no death. It's being created from the worship of life and the material things. You can, of course, honor life. You can, of course, honor life, but if you try to hold on to the life, it's very, very sad. Think of missing someone who has passed away. One thing is to honor them, and the other is to constantly wish that they were here. Wishing that a dead person, a dead human being, is to wish them to be here still is a very serious attachment, and it makes it very sad. It's not the same as honoring their life. No, not at all. Understand that a beautiful woman, a beautiful man, a beautiful person, they, them, no matter how beautiful, think about how beautiful. Think about the beauty they can emanate from themselves if they just weren't so caught up about how they look physically. It's within them, not on the outside. Example, somebody looks at you seductively. An ice cream cone goes by. Will it ever be the big ice cream cone in the sky? Will it ever be an eternal ice cream cone? Or is it always going to melt? You gotta keep eating it, yet it melts and melts. That's its problem. You gotta keep eating it, because it will melt. And then it's gone. And you know that taste in your mouth when you finish and you want a glass of water, right? Then you have a glass of water and there's that bloaty feeling. Then you're ready for the next one to get rid of that one. Let's take a walk. And you take a walk. It's cold out. Let's have some hot chocolate. Yes, let's have some. And on and on and on. It's called life. You see, the opposite of craving is saying, baby, this is the way it is. Yeah? Okay, here and now. This is it. I accept the here and now fully, as it is, right at this moment. This is a reiteration of the planning of the daily daily rituals that we do every day in our lives, especially in Western culture, of constantly thinking about what am I missing? Or I do need to hurry up and finish this ice cream. When you think of I do need to finish up and hurry this ice cream, well, you're just not living in the moment. Now you're literally thinking about the inevitable outcome that the ice cream will melt. How can you enjoy the taste of ice cream if you're already thinking about its death, which actually does not exist? Understand this. And it goes on and on and on. You finish the ice cream, you get a glass of water, you finish that, there's a bloaty feeling, that passes. Well, now you're empty, now maybe you're hungry again. Let's go for another one, but I'm going to be thinking about I do need to finish it before it melts, and so on and so forth. When, baby, this is the way it is, okay? It's just here and now. Just enjoy the ice cream, accept it fully as it is right at this moment. Lame, halt, blind, dying. We're all dying. At this moment, your body is before, excuse me, at this moment, your body is disintegrating before your very eyes. If you've taken LSD, you may be seeing it do this, but you know it's happening. Anyway, it's all a downhill trip, all the way. Boy, what a funny place to get attached to something that's got to go like that. So Buddha says, the cause of suffering is attachment or desire. They all say the same thing. Third noble truth: give up attachment, give up desire. You end the births, you end the deaths, you end the suffering, you end the whole thing that keeps you stuck. If I'm not attached to this particular time, space, locus, then I can be free. I can free, my awareness from my body, and I can become one with it all. I can merge with the Divine Mother. So, at this moment, your body is disintegrating. We have a physical body. It will decay. This is what he refers to. And if you take an LSD, you may be seeing it do this. If you have taken any kind of psychedelics, you quite literally see the decay of your body. You feel it in your bones. But don't attach to it, because that is the cause of suffering. And the detachment from it will end the births and end the deaths. You quite literally become immortal. It's an interesting concept, the words that we're using, because when I say immortal, people think physically immortal. No. Because once you remove the concept of birth and death, that in itself, that vantage point, is immortality. And they all say the same thing. You can grab any famous religious figure, they're all quite saying the same thing in different languages, in different ways, but they're saying the same exact thing. They are not using polarity. The fourth noble truth is the Eightfold Path. for getting rid of desire. Thought, speech, action, livelihood, exertion, remembrance, meditation, and belief. Which says, and bear with me here, get your life straight. Do your work. Do everything you've got to do. Watch your speech. Watch your thought. Watch your calmness. Get your calm center going. Live your life in such a way as to get yourself straight, to get free of attachment that just keeps sucking you in all the time. Get free of desire. Get free of desire. It's a little like a roller coaster. This is just the way it works. If you read St. John of the Cross, Dark Night of the Soul, you know how it is. You've really been working on yourself and you're very pure, and something very high happens to you. You feel liberated. And then your ego walks around and pats you on the shoulder. Pretty good. Look how holy you're becoming. And you fall again. Very important set of pages here. The top speaks for itself. The fourth noble truth. This bottom portion, though. So here's the roller coaster of the journey that no doubt you are embarking if you've reached this far into the video. So you get free of desire. Okay, very simple. And you read important books and holy works and self-awareness, help, all this stuff. He uses the example of Dark Night of the Soul. And you start to kind of figure out, where you're at, right? And you've really been working on yourself, okay? And you feel pure, and something very high happens to you. You feel liberated. This happens. This is inevitable when you start working on yourself. Now here is the shadow that comes in. I've covered the shadow in previous videos. Here's the roller coaster. And then your ego walks around and pats you on the shoulder. Pretty good. Look how holy you're becoming. And then you fall again. You fall back into the trap of desire. What does he mean by this? Now, it's pretty interesting. When I first read this, I had no idea what he was talking about here. But I also fell into this trap. I thought I had it all figured out because of quite literally the massive amounts of psychedelics that I was taking, only to have my shadow come and tell me that, hey man, you got it. Like you figured it out, and you are holy, and you're becoming. But as soon as the shadow told me that, which he's allowed to say, but as soon as I believed him that I am holy, well, now we're stepping into those schizophrenic grounds of I'm sure everyone's heard the story of a person, maybe a cult leader, claiming that they are Jesus Christ. This is what they mean. That person has actually fallen again into the trap of desire of becoming holy. It is a desire. They are not Jesus Christ. They desire to be liberated, and perhaps they were at some point, but something happened along the way where they got wrapped even in the story of being liberated. It's a very slithery kind of trap because it feels like you're doing the right things for yourself, but really what you're actually doing is boosting that ego, that shadow. Like I said in previous videos, befriend the shadow, but do not allow him to preach, nor listen to that preaching. After all, it's the shadow. It's meant to do what it does, and in the heart cave, you can see exactly what's happening. So it's a very slippery trap. I'm going to end the video here since we reached the 50-minute mark. And I want to thank you if you've reached this far into the series. You are truly working upon yourself, and I want to thank you for that. And always remember to thank yourself as well. Every morning, every night, after every task, during every task, etc., etc. But do not pat yourself on the shoulder. Do not let your ego pat yourself on the shoulder. Just understand that it's all a stage in this polarity world.